congratulations for Khakee, Karan, Avinash and Neeraj. Welcome
so
to ETimes, and we are so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you.
So, Karan and Avinash, I absolutely love the authenticity that both of you are bringing into the show, both on either sides of the system. Tell me, how challenging was it for you both to get into the skin of your characters?
You want to take that? Go for it. Picking up a character is always it's always challenging, and that's actually one of the biggest reasons why you do it.
Yeah.
For me, it's always been you want to do characters that give you sleepless nights, and quite frankly, the first night of when I shot the first day, I slept at I think 5 o'clock something, and I woke up at 6 o'clock for my shift because I was just so. I was anxious, maybe I had the nerves, or I was excited, I don't know. But the first day of shoot was very, very kind of tough for me. But nonetheless, it's been quite a journey. I absolutely enjoyed playing the character of Amit Lodha. And like you said, he is an unsung hero. His story is meant to be told. While this is not just his story, it's a very big world.
Yeah.
Where we've got, Chandan Mahto's character also in quite a parallel. But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing it.
What about you, Avinash?
I think challenging, yes, it was very challenging. It was also very scary. But once jumped into it, I think things started unfolding, and it kind of became easier by the day as it went, because you kind of started getting a sense of what it is and how I would want to go ahead with it. But before that, I think there was a lot of time that constantly my head was not letting me be free, because I was very scared of it. And now that we are about to release in a couple of weeks, it has slowly started coming back to me.
Okay.
That now it's gonna come. All the fears that had settled have started coming back to me again. So yeah, I think that feeling hasn't gone. I think once it comes out and hopefully gets appreciated and acknowledged, I'll be put to rest.
Neeraj, most of your stories are based on patriotism and establishments, and again, the same with Khakee. It must have been very challenging also for you to place a story like Khakee and make it connect to the audience. So as a director as well as a producer, how do you ensure to avoid jingoistic writing and things like that?
So, once you're aware of the problem, you
be careful of it.
Exactly. So, you don't want to be jingoistic is where you are working at, right? And this show is written by Uma Shankar and Bhav, our director on the show, and Uma, they collaborated very closely on this to script the whole thing. We were working during COVID, and all the three of us were constantly on Zoom figuring out the writing bit and all that. And Uma was very clear that, okay, this is the world that we are going into. We are not going to be using any cuss words unnecessarily to sensationalize this whole thing.
Yeah.
You can sit with your family, watch the show.
Actually,
It's absolutely because everything doesn't need to be force-fed. There's no need to sensationalize, and that's where the DNA of the show is. I mean, it's a story which is steeped in realism of that world, and still it's a show that you can sit with your family and watch.
Karan, I wanted to talk about your professional journey also.
Right.
There was a time, or I can still say you were often cemented as one of the most charming and good-looking faces in town. So, did that somewhere overshadow the fact that you're actually a very hard-working actor?
That's true even now, though.
Which, the hardworking bit or the
Both of them.
Honestly, I would never want that compliment to ever go away, so thank you very much. Having said that, yes, it becomes a deterrent in your growth as an actor, because people really just, perceive you a certain way and want to always just typecast you and put you in one box. And sometimes I also feel, truly sometimes the industry wants to behave a little stunted. They don't want to explore the fact that you're an actor and you're pretty much as good as the material or the director you're working with.
Yeah.
So yes, it's been a deterrent of sorts. तो अभी वो compliment लगती नहीं, honestly. अभी वो मतलब थोड़ा गाली ज़्यादा लगती है, compliment कम लगती है. I'd be happier if someone ever complimented me on my craft, and that's pretty much the only compliment that I yearn for. So the endeavor is very clear for me. So that's what I've been trying to work on, and that's the general prejudice against me that I want to hopefully
break down something.
and I hope
I
Khakee
think
sort of does
eventually
that.
it will happen.
I hope so. I mean, I've already, got like Neeraj sir having some amount of belief in me, so that really helps.
Some amount मत बोल.
So मैं अगर बोलूँगा,
You guys are top lining the show. If there was some amount of belief, then
but नहीं मैंने इसलिए some बोला था कि बाकी आप ही पूरा करना. So I mean, belief from makers like sir always helps you kind of feel like you're on the right path of things.
You know, Avinash, you have been part of very impactful stories like Bulbul, Laila Majnu, and now Khakee, and you have played very distinctive characters in your projects. So, how do you generally choose your scripts, or has it been challenging to get typecast with your projects?
Thankfully, because I'm doing very different parts, I haven't been typecast yet. I would like to believe so. How I choose the scripts, I think it's a certain point in my life. I realized that earlier I would just read the story and my part, and I would make a choice on that. Now I've started to see the bigger picture.
Okay.
That it's a film, and it's not just a story and not just your part. It's also people who are associated with it. So now I think all of these things come together for my decision making. Having said that, the click for the story is obviously in your instinct. When you read it, you feel you want to be a part of this world, or you don't want to be a part of this world. If you want to be a part of this world, then if the other aspects of it really are attractive enough for me to jump in.
You know, Karan, while you've been around in this industry for a long time now, OTT has actually allowed you to have a newfound audience. So moving on as an actor, how are you planning to reinvent yourself and enhance your stardom?
How am I planning to reinvent myself? I think I'm already doing that. I mean, at least I'm hoping that's how it's coming across. Because it's been quite a conscious decision to take a step back from doing television, with the idea to do better work. That is why maybe also like Avinash said, you have to sit back home patiently, just wait for the right thing to come around.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, special ops happened. After which, Khakee happened, and I keep like sort of batting ideas with sir all the time, because whether he might like it or not, I use him as a mentor. So he's always been around to guide me if on my next projects what I should pick. So you're always reinventing yourself. I don't want to be actually honestly, even while I did television, the characters that I played between all the three shows were very, very different from each other.
Yeah.
So as an actor, you're always trying, I mean, where it lands, or if it doesn't land, it's really not in your hands, and
Exactly.
eventually you play the best hand at the cards you're dealt. Truly I feel like you don't pick work as much as the work picks you. So it's been a very symbiotic relationship like that between the work that I've done and me. And this is where I am today, and I really hope Khakee sort of redefines the way people look at me as an actor.
You know, Neeraj, as a producer, your involvement at the script level is meant to be massive. And for a country where people are so sensitive about politics and attacks, how challenging is it to place your craft, and how do you determine who your audiences are?
you look at it from the lens of the audience also while you're working on any idea. So you're constantly the writer and the audience whenever you're scripting.
Yeah.
That's the key. So I think that has automatically taken care of a lot of things.
Okay.
If you start with that preamble, and that's what we do.
One last thing I wanted to know from you. You know, for the longest point of time, our country as well as the industry is very star obsessed. And OTT platforms have actually changed this notion and put many underrated actors on the map. So, as a producer, how do you maintain your individuality in a place which is star dependent?
We've never believed in the star system when it came to casting for us. Even if you look back at the kind of work that we've done, we've dealt with actors. Even if there is a star who's working in our film, it is, and I've said this, that even when we were doing Special Shabbos or Baby for that matter, it was Akshay, the actor, who used to turn up on the set, not Akshay the star.
Yeah.
And that was the key. I mean, the kind of collaboration that we did and the kind of work that we did was only achievable if that was the mindset.
Yeah.
And we continued that journey across, whether it was Toilet, whether it was MS, whether it was Naam Shabana, or whatever. So what you need to do as a culture thing is to treat actors like actors and not be, otherwise the balance is going to go for a toss, which has happened recently, right? And as long as everybody keeps a sane head on their shoulders, it's going to be all right.
True that. So thank you so much guys for
Thank you.
doing this
Thank you
with
so
me.
much.
I had a great time chatting with you.
Thank you.
And I'm really looking forward to more stories.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.